All right, Shalom. Giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Baruch HaKodash, double honors to all the apostles, a great millstone, do well. Peace, love, and blessings to you, brothers on the highways and byways, giving diligence, making calling like shore. And also blessings, all right, to the 1/3 that also consists of the hopeful elect, that consists of you men, women, and children, believing in on the names of Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, and waiting patiently, all right, for the salvation. I'm that fellow labor Kanakla coming to you once again. Another lesson, Lord's will, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai's lessons edifying and exhorting. This lesson, what prompted me to do this lesson here is RT. It's going into some prophecy. Pretty much the downfall of Babylon the Great, aka America, ruled by the Edomites, all right, the so-called white people today. All right, their empire spearheaded by America. As you see here, dollar share of global currency reserves at 29-year low, IMF. All right, countries have stepped up efforts to move away from the greenback data shows. So the data is showing, all right, that the usage, all right, of the dollars is at an all-time low, okay? And you have to understand, when an empire, basically the health of an empire, or, its dominance or its rule, all right, on the earth, all right, you can look at it by the condition of its currency, all right? And these other countries moving away from the dollar is basically, all right, putting a nail in the coffin, because that's how the U.S. dominated the planet Earth, all right? Every country has a central bank, all right? And as we're about to read and get into, the U.S. would basically cut them off, all right, from the global market, all right, because they control the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar belongs to them. And we'll read a little bit more into that. It says the share of the U.S. dollar in global foreign exchange reserves has dropped to its lowest in nearly 30 years, according to the latest data published by the International Monetary Fund. The statistics tracked by the Washington-based institution show that the greenback share in official reserves dropped by 0.85% between July and September this year, and now stands at 57.4%, its lowest level since 1995. Okay, so the point is, you see a shift. All right, you see a change. All right, that's power. Things are happening. All right, now, did the dollar just completely crash overnight? No, but this is a process. All right, and we're bringing this type of information out because, once again, there's a shift, there's a change happening. All right, that's the point. It says the IMF does not provide statistics for earlier years. IMF flagged a trend in June when it noted in an official blog that the dollar's decline was occurring amid diversification efforts by countries around the world. For instance, while data shows that the greenback share has been steadily dropping for the past 3 quarters, the share of non-traditional currencies has begun gaining ground. All right, so countries are basically circumventing, all right, the sanctions by using another currency, basically. All right, it says the greenback has been ceding ground into the euro. In the 3rd quarter, its share jumped to 20.2% compared to 19.75% in the 2nd year. Global investment, the Japanese yen have surged for the past 6 quarters, with its share in Q3 amounting to 5.82%. All right, so you can see the other currencies are jumping up, and the U.S. dollar is basically declining. All right, it says data also showed a halt in the decline in the Chinese yuan share in global forex holdings, which lasted for 9 quarters. In Q3, the yuan's share rose to 2.17%. All right, so everybody's up, everybody's rising. The U.S. is the one that's declining. All right, despite the downward trend, the dollar so far remains the preeminent reserve currency. So The U.S. dollar is still very strong. All right, regardless of its decline. But the point being is, once again, there's a change happening. All right. It says IMF statistics show that the euros lock it firmly in second place. The greenback's long-standing status as the world's dominant currency has been jeopardized in recent years amid concerns over soaring U.S. debt and sanctions Washington has been placing on its rivals, including Russia. As part of anti-Russian sanctions that followed the escalation of the Ukrainian conflict in February 2022, the U.S. cut off the country's central bank, and this is just the point. One of the points I was talking about. The U.S. cut off the country's central bank from dollar transactions. All right. Once again, with every country having a central bank, all right, the U.S. is able to, cut them off, from dollar transactions. Okay, that's just how it works. Which this will usher in all nations, as Elder Tahar will go into how basically those countries, certain countries in Africa won't accept the whole gender agenda, the whole gender agenda where men and women are able to marry, but they will accept the CBDCs and MOTB, all right, because they have a central bank. It's that simple. Once, consider a country like Cuba, who is subject to these things, it's very hard, all right, for them to buy and sell, for them to import things in, if they're cut off, from the central bank transactions with the dollar. All right, so here it is. That's why they got old technology. They're poor, this, that, and the third, because they're cut off from the global market. All right. It says it later banned the export of dollar banknotes to the country and spearheaded the drive to freeze Russian assets abroad. Foreign Affairs magazine wrote in June that the sanctions on Russia had undoubtedly left other central banks wondering whether their own dollar-dominated rainy day funds would be locked up should their governments run afoul on Washington. So other countries, that's what I mean by other central banks, it, as I said, leave them wondering. So if we do something the U.S. doesn't like, they can basically freeze our funds, basically. It's like you having a debit card at whatever bank you're at. Let's use Bank of America, for example. They freeze your card, all right, with all your money into it, because basically that's what you had to do. You have to convert your currency, all right, to into the U.S. dollar, basically, all right, and it's like them freezing your account. Now you can't use it, all right, because it's in their currency, all right. The U.S. dollar, all right, dominates the central bank. So it says, meanwhile, sanctions have forced Russia to de-dollarize. According to September data, Moscow and its partners in the BRICS economic bloc are now using national currencies in 65% of mutual trade settlements. In a speech at the BRICS summit in Kazan in October, Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that Washington's weaponization of the dollar through sanctions and denying countries access to the Western financial system was a big mistake that will force them to look for other alternatives, which is what is happening, right? And, not only does that happen to the Russians, but everybody, man, they're looking for alternatives. So, let's get that, because basically, when you go into examples like the Roman Empire, all right, them basically devaluing their money, okay, showed you the health of that, of that empire, all right, happened to devalue their money. Let's just get a quick AI review. We go through some other things. It says the Roman Empire's currency was debased over time by reducing the amount of precious metal and coins while keeping the face value the same. Okay, so basically, if what appeared to be a silver coin, all right, it'll have a material inside of it, but it will still be worth the same amount. All right, therefore, you're devaluing it because you now you're able to spread that same material, all right, more out. So the more you have of something, the less is worth. All right. It says this was done to increase the money supply, exactly, and pay for the empire's obligations. So basically, credit, just like you see today. All right, they're buying everything with credit. All right. It says this is done to increase the money supply and pay for the empire's obligations, such as defending the empire and paying soldiers. However, this led to inflation, or a sustained increase in prices for goods and services, and that's the point. Supply and demand. Simple economics. So that's why you see the good and services, the prices would go up on that, because the dollar being devalued, it takes more of it now to buy the same goods and services. All right, not just goods but services. Services people provide. That's why you go to a mechanic shop. It costs you an arm and a leg now for the labor. All right. So real quick, here are some details about the debasement of Roman currency. The denarius was a coin that was, and we were bringing out the denarius because the scriptures speak concerning, all right, these things. This currency, it says the denarius was a coin that was originally almost pure silver, but its silver content was gradually reduced over time. And you can see that with today's money, which they're moving away from using coins and paper notes, but the same thing's happening. You look at a quarter, it's silver on the outside, but then when you look in, you see more of like a copper looking material. All right. Reduced over time, says by the second half of the 3rd century CE, the denarius contained only about 2% of silver. All right. So let's go to the let's keep reading. Other coins, bronze coins, became lighter and included more lead and eventually disappeared. Yeah, so that material, that lead, a coin will basically just literally fade, man. Become smaller and smaller, start missing pieces to the point it's gone. It says factors that contribute to the debasement of Roman coins include a lack of precious metals, war, trade with India, inadequacies in state finances. The debasement of Roman currency often paralleled the strength or weakness of the empire, and that's the point. That's what brings information out. This is the end of Babylon the Great. Empire currency was eventually replaced by the Argenteas. All right, so you see it. Quick little AI overview. So, and then paper. Come on, what is paper worth? What is paper worth? All right, real money is gold and silver. So let's get into these scriptures. Revelation chapter 6, verse 1, it says, And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, because prior to this chapter, Yahushua, all right, opened the seals, loose the seals of the understanding of this book, all right, of these prophecies. It says, as it were the noise of thunder and of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And that's talking about Yahushua, man. All right, it says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red. And this is talking about Esau, Edom. All right. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's what the so-called white people have done. The Edomites, they have taken peace from the earth. But the power was given unto them to do so. All right. That sword, when you go back in the book of Genesis, all right, when Esau was blessed with that sword, all right, it says, and that they should kill one another, all right, Edomite on Edomite. And that's basically what these wars have been, Edomites against Edomites, all right. It says, and there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard a third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. That's a representation of judgment, all right? Balances. When you go to court, you got that balance being what justice is supposed to be served, balance. This crime happened, all right? So now the scale is out of balance. So in order to balance the scale, you committed this crime, so this punishment has to take place, and that's going to restore the balance, all right? Judgment. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. I mean, the understanding the word, all right? Hurt not the oil nor the wine. Verse 6 in NLT to the left, and I heard a voice from among 4 living beings say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. All right. And in the KJV, as we go into it, the penny, as we just read about the Roman Empire, which is the denarius, man. All right.
Strong's G 1220. Denarion. Denarion.
All right. Containing a Roman silver coin. In New Testament time, it looks, its name, it took its name from being equal to 10 asses. All right, number after 217 BC increased to 16. All right, it was a principal silver coin. All right, silver, remember, this was devalued. All right, we just read the history on it. It was devalued. All right, it was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. So if that's devalued, all right, it's going to take more of it. All right, that's why it said a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. So it took a whole day's pay, all right, for a loaf of bread, wheat, so on and so forth. And bread just, just don't represent, actual bread. It could be steak, meat, chicken, eggs, milk, whatever. All that's, not only bread is everything, man. All right. So, and we've seen that. So another point I wanted to bring out is that when it said about the central bank digital currency, because what's happening is the elites is basically going to pull the plug on this dollar. All right, this part right here. This is important. It says as part of anti-Russian sanctions that followed the escalation of the Ukraine conflict in February 2022, the U.S. cut off the country's central bank from dollar transactions. So if every nation has a central bank and this dollar is collapsing, that's why you have the central bank digital currencies, because they plan on the elites, all right, who own those banks. They plan on going digital, which will usher in this prophecy. So it's already set. All right, as one of the elites quoted, all we need is the right crisis, and the nations will accept the NWO, the New World Order, which is ultimately everyone being implanted with this device. All right, because the central bank's already there, so all the central bank got to do is, hey, go digital. Once they go digital, and tell you, hey, in order for you to use it, continue to use this, for you to use this digital currency, you have to have this. Revelation 13 and 16, and he called it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so you're not going to be able to buy or sell without that mark. All right, that implantation of that CHIP, the CHIP, man, or RFID or NFC, near field communication, how you do the Apple Pay to Tap Pay. All right, that technology, all right, that chip will be required to be implanted underneath your skin, man, for you to buy and sell. And it's already there. You already have a central bank in all these countries. So what you think gonna happen? All right, the elites have enslaved all these nations by the way of that dollar, man, by the way of the banking, through a thing called scriptures refer to it as usury. All right, let's see if we can get that usury, if I'm spelling that correctly. See, usury. It's a law. So this is basically how the elites enslaved everyone. Exodus, which is, a direct infraction against the law of the Most High. Exodus 22 and 25, it says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. NLT to the left. If thou lend money to any of my people who are in need, do not charge interest as a money lender would. And that's what the elites have done by, remember watching that movie with the Rothschilds, the banking families, all right? Basically, they took over the whole planet Earth. When these countries would have to go to war, they go to them. And, these Rothschilds would lend money to them, man. They put that usury on it, okay? Because, that's all set up. As the scriptures say, the borrower, let's see. Yep, Proverbs 22 and 7. It says, the rich ruleth over the poor, all right? And this is how they do it. Through usury, as we just went into the law. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. All right? So the borrower is a servant to the lender. So once again, that's how the elites have basically enslaved all these nations. So don't sit here and say, oh, the nations. No, the nations are going to accept it, all right? Because they belong to the Rothschilds, which is why they plan on marking, all right, these people, basically showing ownership, man, showing that they own you. That's why Yahweh Shai said this, Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which the hour of temptation, the temptation to sin by taking the MOTB. All right, notice that. The temptation to sin to sin. It's not sin itself, but the temptation to sin by the act of receiving, all right? By the act of receiving that mark, man, which shall come upon all the world. Why? Because what? All nations have a central bank, all right? So that central bank is going, that government is going to enforce, once again, the bankers are the ones that control the government. That's why that one famous quote by one of the elites, I care not who makes the laws, basically, I control the money, therefore I control that empire. All right? Because your leaders want that money to continue to flow in. All right? So what they're going to do, they're going to comply, all right, to the elites, man. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them, but the well upon the earth. All right, so this is coming, but the Lord said he's going to be with us. He's going to protect us from this time. All right, he's going to feed us. He's as these nations, as they try to as they circumvent the U.S. dollar by using another currency. All right, well, we're going to circumvent this system by using faith, which is the real currency. All right, and depending on Yahweh Shemi Hashai to feed, provide, all right, take care of us in these times when we're not able to go into the grocery store and buy food because we didn't consent, all right, and bow the knee to this image, all right, to worship their God. A righteous revolt, man. All right. So with that, I'm gonna leave it there, Lord. Soon as that fine, giving all praises to Yahweh Shemi Hashai, and Shalom to the